I think many times we search the internet for things on how to teach our children, what should we be teaching them, but today I want to talk about the things you should not be doing or the wrong ways to teach your toddler or your child in general, okay? So today's going to be a vlog style video where I'm going to be going to different stores, but I want to drop a few gems here and there, so they're helpful, right? So if you're new here, hi, I'm Shadiamond, homeschool mom to a 6'4" and 1-year-old. So stay tuned for the rest of the video. Alright, y'all, so I've made it to my first store, which is Bargain Hunt. Y'all can't see. Anywho, I wanted to share the wrong ways, I think, to teach your toddler, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know, right? And so we can be doing things wrong until somebody tells us that we need to do it another way. So I'm trying to be on my phone. If you're wondering why is this on my finger, I cut myself yesterday trying to cut some sweet potatoes, and I cut it pretty bad. So that's that, if you was wondering, okay? But I have them on my phone because I be forgetting stuff. But the first thing I have on here is not making things fun or following their interests. And this one is a very important one, because I often hear about people, they're trying to teach their toddler something, but they're not taking into account what they already love to play with, what they already love to read about, or books they love to grab, and things of that nature, right? How are we going to infuse those early academics? This goes for preschoolers, kindergartners, just early learners in general. How are we going to infuse those academic skills that we want them to have, build upon, if we're not taking into account things that they're already interested in? So this is something to consider, right? So if you're buying things or you're doing things and it has nothing to do with what they're currently interested in, you may be doing it the wrong way, right? And we know or may not know that they have a very short attention span, right? It's usually their age plus a minute or two. So if you have a 2-year-old, it's about 4 minutes, right? 5-year-olds about 7-8 minutes, right? And it increases as they get older. So those numbers may not be correct, accurate, but they have a very short attention span, right? So they can't sit for long segments of time or anything like that. But if we do something they're interested in, say for instance sensory bands on cars, right, or on dinosaurs, or I don't know, water play. My son loves water, so putting letters in water, things of that nature. So I'm not gonna get deep into it because I have 14 other tips, but that's my first one. Not following their interests or making things fun to where they want to engage or be a part of whatever you're trying to teach them. I gotta go in the store right now, but I'll be back for the second tip. So we are out of the store. I did find what I was looking for. I went in for one item and came out with a few different things, and I may just show you what it is. If you didn't know, I am working on a new spring 5-motor activity box. My last one was very successful, great reviews, and I did a poll on Instagram and asked people like what the theme should be for the next box, and the most votes were for sea life, ocean, and all about spring. So I'm excited about that, but I'm back with tip number 2. So the second tip I have is not using songs, y'all. Songs, singing, all of the things, being very playful, using those funny voices. Y'all, the kids learn so much through song, rhyme, words, new vocabulary. They remember different things. If you're very specific with the songs you pick out, it helps with movement. So songs like the Tootie Ta, Head, Shoulder, Knees, and Toes, nursery rhymes. They have different songs for colors and shapes and emotions. So there are a world of songs that you could use within your home learning journey. So my son loves music, he loves to dance, and I be intentional with what I play for him, right? So That's number 2. Number 3 is no sensory play. Now hear me out. I know we don't love Play-Doh or slime or a big mess, but sensory play is so beneficial for young learners. You don't have to do the super messy things. You can do things like water, right, outside. You can do things like paper, shredded paper. You can do things like kinetic sand, or you can use dirt outside. Like, it doesn't have to be super messy, but it is very beneficial. A lot of children are seeking sensory, in different areas. A lot of children are very touchy. A lot of children are kinesthetic learners. So it's very important to consider all of these things, right? I personally love to use Play-Doh. My kids love slime. They love all of the sensory things, and I really be intentional about that as well. So doing things like paint, writing in salt, writing in sand, and things of that nature. So yeah, come on, we gotta do the sensory play. The 4th thing is overcomplicating things. Yeah, for young learners, simple is best, right? Simple is the way to go. You don't need 89 toys to teach a few things, right? You don't need very complex setups for things to be beneficial, right? So think of a cup and water. A pitcher, a cup, and water. Have your child pour from different things, right? It helps work with, hand-eye coordination, transferring, crossing the midline. Like, all of those things can happen with just 2 cups and some water, right? We don't have to overcomplicate things. I promise you, our babies will get it over time. But if you do too much, you're not going to be consistent with it. And consistency is what they need to learn and master these skills, right? And then the 5th thing I have is not getting them involved. And hear me out when I say this. My children have been the center of pretty much everything that I do, because I wanted to be very hands-on, right? I wanted them to see me do things. I want to take the time to narrate and talk to them, explain the world around them. Doing things this way, it helps them learn naturally. Like, if they're in the kitchen with you, there's an opportunity to help them with counting, right? Help them with color identification, texture, smell, temperature, warm, you see steam, right? Hot, right? Cold for ice, and things of that nature. But just involving them in things in general. It doesn't have to be in the kitchen. It could be with picking their clothing, offering them 2 choices for a red shirt or a green shirt, right? Or matching 2 socks, right? Or whatever the case may be. Like, children do good with choices, and of course we only give choices that we're comfortable with. So if you know that your child wants to do something that's just out of your norm, don't even say, hey, you want to do this or that, right? But involving them, y'all, giving them an opportunity to do the small things for themselves. My 1-year-old, he's soon to be 2, but he is so independent. Like, he know how to get his shoes, right? Try to put his clothes on. He pick out his things, right? He knows how to go in the kitchen and get a bowl and, pour little snacks. He know how to pour water in the cup. Like, it's different things like that, and he's been involved since day 1. It takes a lot more patience, I will say that, but it's so very beneficial for the kids. I think I'm on number 5 now, but we have to go get some lunch. So I'll be back with some more tips, but hopefully this is helpful. Let me know in the comments if any of these things is being helpful to you right now, or if you need specific examples of what I'm talking about. I do have my next video. It's going to be my own toddler daily learning routine. So I wanted to talk about the things that we don't do or that we're doing wrong and how we can improve, and then I'll share what I actually do myself in my next video. So we just arrived to our last stop before it's time to go home, which is Target. But I wanted to go through a few more things. So number 5 is it number 6? Let me see.
Yes, number 6.
Okay, so number 6 is relying solely on screens. And this is very popular, especially since the pandemic, where infants are watching TV, toddlers are watching TV, but it's not recommended for any child to watch TV until they're 2 or older, right? Of course, we can't really avoid it with most children, but relying solely on screens, putting on shows, and thinking your child is going to pick up on everything that's going on, It's not the truth, right? There's a difference between them just watching it passively and you sitting beside them explaining what's going on, you picking out shows that builds vocabulary, that shows them, you know, different things that they need to know. So all screen time is not created equal. All screen time is not, you know, beneficial, I would say that. But I have a whole video on my thoughts on screen time, but I just wanted to put that as a tip because I see a lot of people, you know, say, hey, my child watches this show, that show, but we still need help in these areas. So that's one of the reasons, right? Number seven is not engaging with them. So that could be anything from them wanting to, you know, pretend play with you, so bringing you something and acting like it's something else, them wanting you to help them build blocks, or them wanting you to, I don't know, do anything with them, just play with them. Like they need that one-on-one time with their parent, their guardian, their caregiver. They need one-on-one time to build vocabulary. They need one-on-one time to learn how to communicate, right? So of course they need to, you know, play with children as well, but you are their first teacher. So engage with them as much as you can. Make it, you know, in your normal routine to where you sit aside time and be intentional about how much you engage with them and how you engage with them. Number eight is a big one, and I'm big on this. Well, not like not doing it, but I'm big for doing this. Number 8 is not turning everyday activities into learning opportunities. Hence the name Mama Knows Learning. I know that every day we are always learning something. And so the things that you do every day, whether you're going to the store, whether you are putting gas in your car, whether you are grocery shopping, whether you are going for a walk, there are so many things that you can teach doing all of those things, right? And so it doesn't have to be like a set aside time to put together all these, you know, significant activities, extravagant activities, or taking them to expensive places. The things that you do every single day can teach them so much about life. And we can infuse the academics in there as well, because as I said, when you're cooking, they can identify colors, you know, shapes. If they're reading, you know, they can read directions, the order in which things go. Like, there are so many skills that can be taught during your everyday activities, and that's my favorite way to do it, right? I love to be out and about. I love for my kids to interact and stuff like that. So moving on to the next one. Number 9 is kind of like what I said in the last tip, but not engaging them in conversation. You need your baby, your toddler, your preschooler, your young learner needs you to engage with them in conversation. This is how they know, you know, different words and different sounds and stuff like that. This is how they're going to be able to get their practice in when interacting with other people, other children. This is how they're going to help build their confidence, right? This is how we help them build on to their vocabulary. So if they're saying, it's hot in here, if they're saying something like ball, you can say the red ball. The ball is red. Do you like ball? You know, whatever. Just engage them in conversation. It's so important, especially in those early years. They're learning a whole lot from you, and they can get conversation from screens, right? So I have one more tip before I run into the store, because I'm hot. I turned the air off because I thought we was finna get out. The last one I have on my list is not reading to them. Reading is so important, right? This is a way to teach them not only words, but that words have meanings. You matching words to actual pictures, right? Getting familiar with how a book works, so like flipping the pages, pointing to words, things of that nature, right? It helps them build vocabulary, language skills, rhyming. You know, so much comes with reading, and it also helps them develop a love for reading, which is so super important. So reading, singing, playing, like all those things are so important. So I just wanted to do a video on things that I think many people are doing wrong, or the wrong ways to teach your toddler. Not pointing to anything specifically, just the wrong ways to teach your toddler, right? Toddlers are very simple, believe it or not, but you have to understand how they learn, how they function best, how their brain develops. So in my next video, I'll be doing a follow-up, but let me know if you have any questions, feedback in the comment section below. And as always, see you guys in my next video.